All right, it's Wednesday, March 5th. We will start the Public Safety Commission meeting. It is 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order and we will take an attendance. Commissioner Jarvis. Here. Commissioner Burge. Here. Commissioner Kelly.
Commissioner Kelly.
New Commissioner Kelly Dixon.
Here.
David Moscaritolo. Great, we have a quorum, Chief. All right. We're gonna move right into public comment. Is anybody here present in the room would like to have public comments? You'd like to come on up. You can sit here. Just state your name and your address for us in your city. So we can have it for the record. Sure.
My name's Ahmad Isfahani. I can spell it if you.
And you give you about 2 or 3 minutes. We don't time you.
That's
We
fine.
just trust you, that's all.
No, of course.
Yes.
I live at 44 East Cleveland. I emailed, I'll kind of reference that. There's an ongoing issue at the Greenfield Public Library. I don't know if it's one or more individuals. I've spoken with the library staff there. One of the staff seemed to acknowledge there's a strong odor beyond BO that kind of permeates the whole second floor. I believe it to be associated with one individual who may not be aware. So I guess I wanted to present this as an issue to discuss alternative methods apart from perhaps law enforcement. Because if it's a mental health issue, if it's someone who's not aware, just looking at exploring ways in which the city can respond to people who have needs who are not being met that are affecting others in that type of way. That's essentially it.
So we don't comment back or ask questions?
Of course.
But we thank you for your time and we will review it and we'll probably be back in touch with you. With
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else here in the room that would like to have public comment? Is there anyone on the line at this time? Oh, I see a hand up. Is that you, Stephanie?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie Duclos, Precinct 8. I'd like to congratulate and welcome Kelly Dixon to the public safety. I know she'll do a wonderful job. I also have concerns about things that happen in my neighborhood, but I have said them at so many meetings. And I was told that if I have traffic, speed, or safety issues, I should relay them to the Public Safety Commission. I do that on a regular basis. I have some personal connections on the Public Safety Commission, but I just wanted to pop in and say, you know, you guys are all doing a great job from, you know, every aspect of public safety. I do appreciate all the hard work that the Public Safety Department does, from fire, police, and ambulance services. I do see you guys regularly in my neighborhood, so I know you're pretty busy, but I wanted to thank you guys again for all the hard work, and thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Is anybody else online on Zoom would like to speak? Public comments? All right, and one last chance for the room. Anybody in the room? All right, I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. We don't have meeting minutes to approve. We'll have 2 months. We don't have a secretary right now. We'll have 2 months of meeting minutes to approve next time, and Ed and I will put the sure. We'll move on to new business, and I also at this time I do want to wish Kelly, we appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to working with you. So congratulations and thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, I will invite up emergency and medical services. And again, anybody that comes up and speaks, I would like you to state your name and your department and your position, just so folks that watch this a month from now on Zoom know who you are. We know most of you, but folks that watch it on TV land may not. Welcome.
Hi,
Hi.
Kim D'Angelo, Operations Manager for AMR in Greenfield. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We've continued busy throughout the winter. Hospitals are very busy. The census everywhere is busy. So we've been maintaining an average of 250 transports monthly. I did send you over the reports this afternoon for January and February, so those should be waiting for you. We really appreciate the partnership with Greenfield Fire. They support us a lot on scene. We've been kind of passing calls back and forth to make sure everything is covered, and it's been working pretty smoothly. We've been working to onboard more employees specifically to our Greenfield station. We've been doing a lot of coverage between two bases. We have one new full-time paramedic on the overnight. He's newer to us, new to full-time Greenfield, however, not a new paramedic at all. He comes to us with 20+ years experience, so that's great. We have 2 new full-time EMTs that are starting in our new hire academy next week, who will be predominantly based in the Greenfield station. And then we have 1 returning EMT who's coming back to us on a part-time basis, who has worked for Greenfield for many years. So that's great that she's coming back. We have recently done a lot to remodel and improve our station, make it a little bit nicer for them. New paint, new floors, new furniture, full new supply closets, which is excellent. Better for inventory, cleaner. We used to have it off the garage, the dust, the dirt from the trucks. So we've moved it all inside to a different location, and that is going great. So swing by and take a look. It looks great.
Sure.
We are excited to participate in the Greenfield High School Career Fair that's coming up next week. We have our supervisor and 2 of our recruiters are going over to mostly just meet them. They're not quite eligible for EMT school yet, but once you graduate, try to bring anyone in that's interested. So that's exciting. We like to participate in all of those events. And our biggest news, we've been working really hard over the last few years to become CAS accredited. It's essentially the gold standard of ambulance services. It's very difficult to attain. We are the only ambulance service in all Western Massachusetts that has recently been accredited. So we have full accreditation for the next 3 years, which is huge. We've worked for many, many years to accomplish this. So it's all encompassing of all of our Western Mass providers. They look at fleet, vehicles, equipment, response times, staffing, the support of your crews, making sure they have all the proper things that they need to get the job done, as well as a big focus on patient outcomes to make sure we're providing good patient care. So we had our site visit about 2 months ago at this point, and we found out last week that we are fully accredited. We passed with flying colors. So that's huge news for us. We're very proud.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's very good news.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You'll see the stickers on the truck soon. Those are our updates. Give me questions.
I haven't had a chance to forward your updates for the month, but I'll send them to the other commissioners. Do any commissioners have questions or comments?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting. I have one quick question. I apologize. Where is the AMR location here in Greenfield?
If you're driving down High Street past Franklin, it's maybe half a mile further, like diagonally across from the police station.
Okay, I know where it is. Yeah, thank you.
Stop in and visit. They're always there.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you for having us.
All right. We're ready for the fire department. Step up to the plate. Introduce yourselves to the Zoom folks.
I apologize for being a little late. The meeting earlier went over longer than I expected, and I had to get home for a little bit, so.
I'm gonna
Apologize
ask,
for that.
if you want to do the approvals for deputy first, I just ask the commissioners if you can rotate the schedule.
Yeah.
They have arrived.
So, before we
Hold on, I
get,
have to ask.
oh, sorry.
Can I have a motion to rearrange the agenda for, I want to put all promotions up forward.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, everyone, aye? Great, thank you, sorry. We're all set.
All
Okay, we'll
set.
move
So
that, we'll move that.
I had already sent you a letter making a recommendation for appointment for deputy chief. I am pleased to announce that Captain MacGyver, Peter MacGyver, went through a long process competing against 2 other fine candidates for the job of deputy chief. Peter rose to the top. He has, over the last 5 or 6 years since he's moved up from lieutenant to captain has been an integral part of the fire department. He has embraced learning every aspect of the department, including budgeting, operations, and he has taken every assignment that has been thrown his way with dignity, a commitment to get it done, and an unwavering support of the city and the town. He also is a member of community organizations like the planning board, and does a lot for the community outside of work. He puts in a tremendous amount of time and a tremendous amount of hours, to the point where I remind him to get home, because he's got a beautiful family, and 2 beautiful children, and his wife, and sometimes telling him to stop working is challenging, but we work on that. But because of that work ethic that he has, I couldn't be prouder. Probably one of the most proudest promotions that I put forward to this commission, to recommend Peter MacGyver, Captain MacGyver, as the next deputy chief of the Greenfield Fire Department.
Like to say anything? Just hello.
Sure. Hello. Thank you for having us tonight. Honored to be here. It's quite the accomplishment, and I don't take that lightly. And it's been a journey to get to where we are. But look forward to all of the challenges that come forward. And Deputy Jarvis knows very well the big shoes that he left to fill. So I look forward to the task. And
Any questions for commissioners?
No surprise.
Yes, no, go ahead. Before we
Go
go.
first, okay, yeah. Peter, no surprise to me, Pete, that you've worked your way up through the ranks. You're a hardworking individual. I was proud to have you on my shift when I was a shift captain. I was proud to have you as a firefighter underneath me when I was in charge. You know, my paper was never late when you were on my street. So I've known you for a very long time, since you were a little growing up. And it's no surprise to me that you worked your way up through the ranks, and you're probably still not done. Because someday Chief is probably looking forward to retirement someday, so then you can take over that. Yeah, just some days you need to take a deep breath or walk away, so be prepared for that. It comes with its challenges. Yeah, and at times you wanna bang your head against the wall, but it's all good. It's all good, so congratulations. Thank you.
Any other comments? I have a couple. First, I want to recognize, thank you, Mayor, for being at our meeting. We appreciate you in the way back. Generally, when it comes to hiring and promotions, Public Safety Commission is involved. And I happen to have the pleasure to sit and observe and also be involved with final interviews. And I think it was an important aspect of it, but I want to thank the other candidates too, the 2 other candidates, for working really hard. As you know, it's nerve-wracking no matter how many years you are around or who you know the people, you're in this process, and it's, so I appreciate everyone hanging in there. I really appreciate you, and I'm proud of you, and I know your family is. So I will ask for a motion to approve for deputy chief. I need a motion in a second.
I make a motion that we send a positive recommendation to the mayor's office for the promotion of Captain MacGyver to Deputy Fire Chief MacGyver. Second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Burge,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
and Commissioner Moscartola, yes. Congratulations.
So if I could close with a couple of remarks about this promotion. Just for folks at home and people in the room, the promotional process for deputy chief was a well-involved process. There there was a third-party evaluation company that was brought in and put the candidates through the paces. And Peter rose to the top of that, as well as the interview process, job performance, and personnel record. Peter has had some setbacks in his career, not any that were controlled by Peter. And Peter is an example of when things don't go the way that we hope to in the fire service, we keep our head down, we plug forward, and we keep working towards the end goal. And Peter's a prime example of that. He never gave up. He never wavered. As a matter of fact, we had which I will talk about in a little bit, but we had a pretty significant incident that happened this Sunday. And Peter got his first taste of being the operations role in a very difficult situation that happened, which I will go into in a little bit. Peter can handle anything that's thrown at him. He's worked very hard to get where he is. And again, I couldn't be prouder of him. So thank you again. Next, to my right is Matthew Gardner. Matthew is, we had a very long process for entry-level firefighter. It starts with a review of their applications and their resumes. And then from there goes to an interview board that's made up of several people, including captain and lieutenant, a firefighter. They get graded through there, and then that cuts out some of the candidates. Then the candidates go to a practical evolution where they're tested on their medical skills, they're tested on their fire skills. And Matthew rose to the top with the two other candidates that are coming forward for. One of them we've already met, one of them you'll meet in May. But he was the number 2 candidate. He comes highly recommended from a lot of our internal folks. Matthew doesn't have a lot of experience on the fire side, but what he does have is character and drive, and we are super excited to put his name forward for recommendation for appointment to the Greenfield Fire Department as a permanent firefighter.
What's last name, Matthew?
Gardner.
Gardner. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, it's obviously a pleasure to meet all of you, everyone behind me as well. This has always been a dream of mine to be a part of a fire department, and just like to say that I'm very excited and honored to be here and have the opportunity to be a part of such a great team and a family, and I'm just excited to see what the future has to bring, and I can't wait to get started.
Any questions or comments? So Chief, Matthew was the gentleman you spoke to me about that had interviewed at one time?
No, that was Brian,
That was
the
Brian,
firefighter you met
Okay,
the
that's
previous
right.
meeting that you
Okay.
pushed forward in the last meeting.
That's what I thought. Great, okay, sorry about that, Matthew. All right, any questions? If not, we'll do a motion. Yeah, motion.
I'll make a motion that we forward a positive recommendation to the mayor for Matthew as a full-time firefighter at Greenfield Fire Department.
Give it a second.
I'll second that.
All right, we'll do a vote. Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Burge,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
and Commissioner Moscaritolo, yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Meeting on stay for a minute? Sure. Okay.
So the 2 items on the agenda, I know you have others,
Hmm?
ladder truck and call volume and topics, so. whatever you
Yeah,
want.
so the ladder truck, that's why I was late today. We finalized the specifications for the new ladder truck. Thank you to the mayor and the city council for finding the $1.9 million for the purchase of the new ladder. I think it's pretty remarkable to be able to, for the first time that I can remember, in such a tough climate financial-wise, to be able to find the money to pay for it without borrowing. And I think that the mayor deserves a lot of credit. When she initially told me that over a year ago, the back of my mind was, I have never seen a truck that we haven't borrowed. How are we gonna get there? And somehow she found it. Part of that came out of the ambulance revenue account. Part of it was we had to get a different truck that we originally were hoping for. But this truck that we have secured is a great ladder truck. It's got, it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it has a lot of things that we need to operate the ladder truck with. I'm super excited about it. Once we finalize the final cost and we sign the purchase order for the final amount, the production will start right away, and we should see it in the city probably around the end of August, early September, versus 3 years. So that's pretty remarkable. Budget's tight, real tight on it, but we're gonna have a truck that the city can be proud of for many years to come. So we're excited about that. The chairman joined us for our meeting today for the final spec meeting, if you will. He got to, I don't know if he caught everything that we were talking about with the truck, but I think you can share that there's no real frills, there's no real bells and whistles on the truck. It is a work truck that provides the needs that we have. So I'll answer any questions about the ladder.
Any questions on the ladder?
Probably for 10 years on that, congratulations.
Thank you. It was over a decade in the making, and I can't thank, again, I said thank you again. I'll say thank you to the mayor and our city council for really, you know, it was tough for people to make that decision when you look at the firehouse, and we have a new firehouse, and there's been a lot of capital invested in the firehouse, but we couldn't be more grateful. It will be able to provide the job that we need to do efficiently, effectively, and keeping our members safe.
I'd like to thank the mayor again and the city council. I did that in an email. It was for their unwavering support of the fire department and the members and the citizens of Greenfield. You don't put fires out with bells and whistles, and you don't save people with bells and whistles. You save them with equipment and hard work from the people that you had within. So you have a nice piece of shiny truck that has a bunch of bells and whistles, but that doesn't get the job done. So it's my.
Can you explain to the public biggest differences between operation of the two briefly, not major, you know, but just, you know,
Yeah.
like what's the biggest difference is going to be out on the street in using that new truck?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is that our current ladder truck is what we call a platform or a tower truck, which means that there's a working platform on the end of the ladder that allows firefighters to get in the platform and not have to climb the ladder. It provides an easier platform to work off of than a straight stick. Now, you'll ask, well, why are we downgrading? Well, it's not really a downgrade. What we gain from the new truck without the basket on the front of it, and it is straight ladder truck. We have some more maneuverability. We don't have 7 feet out in front of you. The weight of the truck is much less, which is a concern going over bridges in town. It is easier to set up, easier to maneuver. It has a larger water tank than the current truck, and so there's some upgrades. Yes, you cannot dispute that the platform is easier to work off of, but our ladder, there are times with, because of that massive platform, we're not able to get to the roof or the upper stories of a building because trees are in the way, wires are in the way. We have easier access to get to that with the ladder. It just means the way that the firefighters are going to have to work is going to be different. I started my career on a straight stick ladder before we got the platform. That's how much I did myself. And although it is different and sometimes it can be more challenging, it is a safe, efficient operating platform. I shouldn't say platform, but a stable area to work off of. It's going to take training. There are 2 people within the department that remember what it's like to work off a straight stick. Everybody else has worked off a platform. So the way that we're going to accomplish that is we're going to drill very, very hard. And we're going to get the firefighters comfortable with the change of piece. I've already committed to the firefighters that we're so busy on shift that you will drill a lot on shift with this truck, but when the truck is new, my goal is to be able to pull them off duty as a shift. All right, here's the truck, go. No interruptions, go learn the truck, climb the truck, set the truck up. And over time, it'll be second nature. And so like a lot of fire departments, when doing the research versus platform for the straight stick, a lot of departments I talk to that have straight sticks, they actually prefer the straight stick over the platform. For us, it's gonna be a learning curve, and we need to be very sensitive to that, and we are going to provide whatever we can to make sure that our firefighters transition to that well.
Thank you for that information. The only thing that I would add is, I know, just being on the calls, that the companies, both companies will be up here for an introduction when it's delivered. And just remind us of the dates, because I know that I want to be there.
Sure.
And view that. I'm sure other commissioners might want to be there too.
Sure.
So thank
We'll
you.
do that. I'm happy to report that finally, the new ambulance has been delivered. We are waiting for we have an automatic lift system for the stretcher in the back of the ambulance. It is currently, the one that we currently have is in the old A2. That needs to be swapped out to the new A2. Once that's done, then we'll reach out to OEMS and get it licensed and hopefully get it on the road soon. It's a beautiful truck. If you have the opportunity to go see it, you should see it. It is, it's a little bit different than what we've been used to. We've been used to larger trucks with the ambulance. This one is a Ford 550, but gives us four-wheel drive or capabilities in the winter, which has been problematic in the last few years, so.
What's the estimate of it being on the road?
Month, maybe. We still have to provide training. Everybody has to drive it, get comfortable with it, comfortable with the operations on it for probably a month. That's the goal. So I have two last things. The first one is I want to talk a little bit about an incident that happened on Sunday. We had a structure fire on School Street early in the morning on Sunday. Fire was in the second floor, or what we call the number 2 floor, extending up into the attic. I'm going to use some fire jargon here, so bear with me. This is what we refer to in our industry, bread and butter operation, meaning that this fire that we have is what we do a lot of. Over the years, this has been the type of fire we have. 2.5-story wood frame, multi-unit apartment building, fire extending on the second floor. The guys did an aggressive attack. We went to a second alarm. We were about 15 minutes into the incident. One of the relief crews of off-duty guys, our mutual aid wasn't on scene yet. Our RIT team wasn't on scene yet. Mutual aid was just arriving. We had one engine from Turner's, but the rest of the engines were still inbound. One of the off-duty crews, engine 2, made access to the top floor, relieving the first crew. They went in to pull ceiling, and when the fire is burning up in the attic, we make holes in the ceiling to be able to get to the fire. When the crews went in, they started that operation, and there was a catastrophic failure of the ceiling and joist connections of the attic. In the entire span of the room that they were operating within, collapsed suddenly without warning, trapping 2 of the firefighters with debris and fire above them. The first indication that we had a problem was the lieutenant that was towards the window on the A side or the front side of the building. We could see, we saw the ceiling come down. We saw him. I didn't see it. The safety officer next to me said, "I think this lieutenant's in trouble." And we looked up, and sure enough, the ceiling was on top of him. We could only see his helmet, and we could see the fire rapidly taking off. The other lieutenant in charge of that crew was in the doorway of the room. called in a mayday, called it as urgent, but it was transmitted as a mayday. Our dispatcher, right on the spot, transmitted the mayday, let everybody know that there was a problem going out. The other firefighter was trapped under the debris on his stomach, spread out on his stomach with the ceiling on top of him. The other lieutenant helped him out. He went, grabbed the nozzle, knocked down a lot of the fire, and then the two of them were able to, all three of them worked together to get this roof structure or this ceiling structure off of the other firefighters. Both firefighters were transported to the hospital. One has returned to work, the other one hasn't returned to work. I'm happy to report it's not life-threatening injuries that this firefighter had, but he still had significant injuries enough to keep him out of work for a little bit. We were 10 minutes into the fire. I've done this particular type of fire many times in my career, and never had we had a catastrophic failure that early into the incident. It was difficult, but everybody did their job, and they were quickly removed from the building. Turner's Falls was assigned to the rescue. Captain MacGyver was the operations chief. He assisted with me getting a plan of action into place where we're throwing ladders, we're getting crews, we're getting a lot done. The whole incident happened 2 minutes exactly from the time of collapse to the time that they were removed, and we canceled the maydays. I only point that out because if it wasn't for the training, if it wasn't for the experience, if it wasn't for a bunch of stuff and just luck, I think the circumstance could have been a lot different. And so I am so proud of this department and the composure that they kept, and everybody coming to help. I do want to recognize our police department in AMR. AMR was able to transport both of our firefighters. Our police department was initial on scene, and they were able to clear the building for us. They do a great job, and we appreciate. They gave us an update of, hey, you got fire on the number 2 floor on the north side of the building, so that triggered some stuff inbound. So they did a great job as well. Our dispatcher, I'm gonna go back to that real quick. Our dispatcher to recognize that the firefighters were in trouble and start the procedure without even thinking about it, letting everybody know. I called her today. She happens to be working today, and I couldn't be more proud of what she did as well. She was really on the spot. So I'll take any questions about that incident if anybody.
I'll just comment. That's why we train on Maydays. As I'll speak as the old fire chief, deputy chief. That's why we train on them. We train on them. We train on them. And so when stuff like this happens, you become, it's not reactive, it's active. You know what to do. You know what to do, and the dispatchers know what to do. Hopefully, Pete, they don't do what they did to me when the chief was on vacation, decided to have a Mayday call and drill at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then tell the deputy chief, and the old man wakes up with his heart 100 miles an hour, thinking that I missed a call and we had firefighters trapped in a fire, but it was a dispatch, but they forgot to inform me. But hopefully they don't do that to you, because it's a shock to your system when it happens. But yeah, training, kudos to the dispatcher. To do it. It's a very stressful situation that they were put into. That, and this is something they do every day of the week. It's not something we do every day of the week, but we train for all the time. We train as a RIP team. We train to get the guys out of trouble when they get in trouble. So kudos, good job for everybody, and I'm glad everybody's home safe.
I'd like to say something. On behalf of the citizens of Greenfield and the commission, and personal, I want to thank you, all the public safety folks that were involved in this. I'm very proud of you. I'm very thankful, and I'm sure the citizens of Greenfield are too.
I know, I was there to observe, as a commissioner, and every time I go to observe, whether it's the police departments or the fire departments, the thing I notice most is just the focus and the calm concern. Just you all are just getting the job done and you're not thinking about it, you know. Folks like me are sitting there, you see the flames jetting out of the roof. Or, and the 100 people are around and, I'm pacing back and forth, nervous, and you folks are just doing your job. Emergency services, dispatch, police and fire, I thank you, and the citizens should be proud of what you guys and gals do every day. It's when you're sitting there watching it, it's quite amazing how everyone just handles the business. So, thank you.
So lastly, at the request of the chairman.
I requested something? Just one thing?
Yes. This is a list of our equipment. And I'll run through it really quick.
So before you do that, just to note, I did ask both chiefs to supply us with a list of all their registered vehicles, including water flotation and four-wheel vehicles, and not VIN numbers, but just the list in what the dates are of those vehicles, just so when we go into conversations with ourselves or possibly with the mayor or other people, that we have an idea what each department has, instead of kind of playing a guessing game. So I thank both chiefs for sending me a full list the other day when I asked. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. I'll just real quickly go through it to highlight the trucks. If you look at this, you can see the vehicle ID, what its grouping is and primary uses, the make and the model and the manufacturer date and the end of service life expected date. You'll notice that we have some vehicles that are beyond the end of life service date. So that's the list. So starting at the top, I've also color coded based off of its functions. Blue being EMS, green being marine, yellow being apparatus, orange being administrative, and gray being support. The first one we have A1. A1 is 2022 expected end of life at 2037. That is our frontline ambulance. A2 is a 2009 Horton. That is the one we're retiring next month. And if you look down at the bottom, there are future apparatus that have yet to be delivered. A2 is, although it's here, it's not in service. It should be by the end of the month. Going down next is the boats. Boat 1 is a Zodiac, a 9-person Zodiac boat that was purchased in 2020 and 2006, slated to be replaced in 2026. Boat 2 is in the most simplest of phrases is a dinghy, where it's more for the smaller rivers, where if we put a line across and we have to scoop people across the river with the small boat, we can take it in with 1 or 2 people to get to the smaller rivers that we have. Brush 1 is a Wildland truck. It is an F450 purchased in 2020, slated to be replaced in 2040. Car 1 is a Chevrolet Tahoe 22, purchased in 22, slated to be replaced in 29. That is the Chief's Command car. THV means take home vehicle. That is assigned to the chief of department. Car 2 is a Ford 150. It is assigned to the fire prevention officer. He responds 24 hours a day. He has a pickup because he carries things like ladders to check smoke detectors and other equipment that would fit into an SUV. Car 3 is a police interceptor 2017. This was donated or in exchange with Deerfield PD. It is the gray small cruiser that we have. Car Car 4 is the Red Explorer. That is a 2020, and that is the deputy chief's car. Car 5 is another police interceptor that was the Greenfield Police Department, an old cruiser that they took offline, and that is used for training or a spare car as needed. We send a lot of folks away to training, and to save on mileage, that's what that car is used for. I will say that car, it is the plan to remove that car out of service once the prime mover gets there, which I'll get into in a minute. Engine 1 is a 2006 Pierce Contender. Sabre, slated to replace 2026. That's probably going to be pushed off quite a bit because of the new truck. Engine 2 is an Aero XT, a 2014, slated to replace in 2034. Engine 3, the newest truck, that is both a pumper and a rescue, on a 2021 Impel Pierce. They're all Pierce, slated to replace in 2041. Engine 4 was a commercial cab. It is a Freightliner 2022 purchased, slated to be placed in 2042. Our Kubota is a 2-person Kubota that is used to access the woods for rescue. It has a stretcher unit in the back. It also carries equipment during rescues out in the woods. It also does a lot of work with wildland fires and trucking people and equipment into the woods. And it is used heavily at our details, whether it's Warmtown, Green River Fest, or the fairgrounds, so we can get quick access to patients. The police department has SUV as well. They are set up for completely different missions. Theirs haul people, ours usually does patients and equipment. The Kubota trailer purchased the same year. The MDU trailer, MDU is Mass Decon Unit. That is a 2005. That was a grant funded to all communities that had a hospital to provide mass decon, which are basically portable shower units. The public health trailer was a COVID grant funded for the Department of Public Health here in town, because we have the equipment to move that large trailer, because we have the manpower to assist with that. We have the ownership of that, and we maintain that for them, but it's their trailer to use for health purposes. We also use it during details as a place for firefighters to get out of the weather, and if we need to, a command post. So you'll see that up at the fairgrounds at Wormtown, Green River Fest, and stuff like that. Tower 1 is the 2000 truck, replacement 2020. That is the one that will be replaced with a new ladder, which will be a 2025 expected delivery in September. Utility 1 is a 2014, slated to be replaced in 2029. It's a Silverado 350, and basically it is what the title is. It is a utility truck. It's our all-purpose pickup truck, including our DPW does a great job, but we use that to plow out our driveway. We use that for other plowing activities. Our DPW is really good at what they do, but sometimes we need to have that capability of cutting in a road when we're going out on a fire call. And they may not be in the part of town that benefits that. It's also used to haul equipment. It's used at every fire scene to pick up hose, packs, dirty gear. It's used at what you would use a pickup for. The shelter trailer is roughly a 2015, and that houses all our shelter supplies, including cots, linen, and things needed to operate a mass shelter. Future apparatus, we talked about ladder 1 and the new ambulance. The one I want to highlight is the Prime Mover. The Prime Mover is a Dodge Ram pickup, larger pickup that has a cap on the back that will be used to move all the heavy equipment that we have, all the trailers that we have. It'll be outfitted with the drone program. So the drone equipment will stay on it, so it's charged and ready to go. It will be used, we house the Western Mass Tech Rescue trailer, which has all the supplies for the tech rescue equipment on it. This truck will be responsible for towing that. This truck was a 3-year process working on acquiring through Homeland Security out of the tune of, I think it's around about $130 piece of equipment that Homeland Security is providing to the city for zero cost other than maintenance and fuel on that. And again, I mentioned that Car Fire 5 is coming off the line. So the insurance for that car, the fuel for that car, I'm hoping that we will see a net zero increase to the budget, operating budget because of this vehicle. And we're very fortunate that Homeland Security funded this project. Like I said, it took 3 years for it to become a reality. Should be here this summer. And that's the list of equipment we have. The only other piece of equipment that you should be aware of is on the apparatus for, we house a Department of Fire Services hazardous materials truck. It is a hazmat truck that has about $1 million worth of meters and equipment on it. The way that the hazmat team works in the state, it's run by the state fire marshal's office, but they strategically pre-position these trucks all over the Commonwealth. And they put them in departments that have people that are on the team. We have 3 members that are on the team. And that truck is housed here. They carry their own insurance. They pay the connection for the electricity. We pay for the electricity for the truck, but we have no other cost other than we house it here in our garage. And the reason why we do that is because that's the only hazmat resource in Franklin County. And it needs to be available in quick response for the county, which benefits specifically Greenfield having that capability available quickly.
Wasn't sure I was expecting you to go through the whole list, but that's
All
okay.
right.
We appreciate that. Now Chief Dodge is kind of in a pickle because. Any questions from commissioners? All right, again, I thank you for supplying me with the request that I made the other day, and I'm sure there'll be more conversation ongoing for both departments.
Yeah. So the overall goal with this is to define what our replacement plan is and to try to get this in line with the city's plan as well. As you can say, other than the engine and some minor things, the fire department's really not in it. We're not gonna have to go back for a while. Engine 1's gonna be an issue, but we're gonna make engine 1 limp along for a while because of the new ladder truck and the changes with the more water and the pump on the ladder truck. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations. All right, I will invite dispatch. Solo tonight?
Indeed.
I'm Cindy Hunter. I'm the dispatch supervisor for Greenfield Police and Fire.
Nice to see you again.
Welcome Commissioner Dixon to the board. So I'll give you our call volume for January and February because we missed those meetings. We took 1,953 911 calls in January. We took 1,856 in February. Our documented calls for service for January were 3,399. For February, 3,262. So we were very busy. We unfortunately are down to 2 per diems. One of our per diems, whom you met several meetings ago, dispatcher Luda Sherstakova. She unfortunately had to leave us. Her work and personal and educational commitments were a little too much, so we're very sorry to see her go. We do have a current trainee, full-time trainee, Trevor Brunette, who the board met a few months ago. He is in the second part of his training right now. He's in fire, we call it fire skills training. So he's focusing on fire training right now. If he continues at the pace that he's at, we expect him to be done by the end of the month, just in time for spring and summer vacations. So what that does is brings us to a place where we can staff what we call our vacation relief spot. It's an extra dispatcher, essentially will cover long-term absences and vacations. So having that position filled definitely saves us a ton in overtime and stress on the dispatchers as well. Summers are quite busy with vacations, as you can imagine. We have one per diem that was in sort of a long-term part-time training, Madison Gorell. She has finally finished her training. She was doing part-time training with us because of her college schedule. So we're happy that she's finished her training and should be starting to take shifts in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited about that as well. I'm happy to say that Lieutenant Alex Cooley from the fire department and I, along with Chief Strahan, have been working for the better part of 6 or 7 months to update our fire protocols for dispatch. They were a little outdated, and so we worked together to get that up to date. So I've sent that back to Alex, and he's going to do a final review with the chief, and hopefully we'll have that by the end of the month, I'm hoping. Because you guys were so supportive, the board was so supportive of getting my position out of dispatch and into the office, I have been able to start our QA program, quality assurance. So for the first round, I chose 5 random calls for each dispatcher. And instead of going to each dispatcher and addressing calls, I did sort of a global review of all of the dispatchers' calls, and I'm now starting to give them feedback on places where we can definitely use some improvement and places where we are excelling. I'm happy to say that we're doing a very good job, or the dispatchers are doing a very good job. We have a prospective new per diem trainee, hopefully coming up soon. HR has made a conditional offer to him, and it's now at the background stage. So I have put in a request to one of the sergeants who is in charge of getting the background done. So hopefully we'll have that pretty soon. I'm happy to also say that our CIT training, critical incident training, which we've talked about, every dispatcher is now trained with the exception of one per diem dispatcher, and she's going to be taking the class in June. So we will now all have CIT training. So definitely our mental health calls seem to be increasing every month. So that will definitely be put to good use. Speaking of training, on the 27th of this month, Greenfield will be hosting progressive law enforcement consultants. They are local to Massachusetts. I think Granby is where they're out of. So we'll be doing a training called Active Threat Response for Dispatch. I can give you a printout of this description of the class.
And when is the class?
It's going to be the 27th. It's going to be here at the firehouse. Chris Pronovos and his wife, Jessica, I believe is her name. He's a retired police officer with, I think, 35, 40 years experience. His wife, Jessica, is a current part-time dispatcher for the town of Amherst, actually, with many years experience. We're excited, looking forward to that. And just a couple other things, I would just like to mention a couple of calls that, one that Fire Chief touched on. Dispatch has had a couple of calls in the last month or so that were pretty traumatic for us. The structure fire on 75 School Street, as the chief mentioned, that's a pretty traumatic call. That's one that a dispatcher never wants to hear a mayday. We consider the police officers and firefighters our families, and so we worry about them as much as their families at home do. So that was pretty scary for the dispatchers. I would like to recognize dispatcher Johanna Guillaude and Yvonne Mumblo. Dispatcher Guillaude was actually the dispatcher who accepted the mayday and put her training to use, and was instrumental in helping the firefighters to get out safely. Certainly we send our hearts go out to the firefighters, certainly, and hope that they are doing well. And our hearts go out to those that were affected by the fire as well. Dispatch. Back on February 19th, there was a call that ended in a short police chase as well as a crash. It started out as a motor vehicle theft. With less than a minute, the dispatchers took the information, got the description of the stolen vehicle out to officers. Within a minute and a half, they had given them all of the descriptive information, location information that they had. Less than 6 minutes into this call, an officer had spotted the vehicle. Unfortunately, a short police chase occurred and then a pretty serious motor vehicle crash into another car. They ended up having to contact Life Flight, had to come for one of the occupants. Excuse me. EMS had to come. I think that one of the pieces of these types of calls is that people miss is that because we do have this one call, this one serious call going on, that everything else stops in town. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And so at the same time, these two dispatchers had a pretty serious disturbance going on that required multiple police officers and EMS to respond to that call as well. So they were juggling those two calls. So I would like to recognize dispatcher Mark Lavin and again, dispatcher Yvonne Mumblo happened to be working for this call as well. They did a fantastic job, didn't miss a beat, got help where it needed to go. And I think in that case, definitely helped to prevent other accidents or injuries to the public. So very proud of them. I think that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Questions from commissioners, statements?
Thank you so much.
For anybody here that hasn't seen the new dispatch center, and commissioners, I urge you, please go up and see it.
I haven't done any tours.
And even Anthony, have you been up there? Have you seen the dispatch center? Okay, great. I think it's really impressive and I think what you do, I mean, you have police and fire officers behind you and I'm sure they appreciate everything you do and I hear it and I see it. So please thank those dispatchers for
We
the.
definitely will.
And we appreciate your hard work and we're very happy that you're not on the desk. I know you like to be on the desk.
I
every
do,
once in a while,
I do.
But we're really happy that you are not in the benefits of being, we're seeing the benefits of you not being on the desk. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And I would just like to say again that we definitely appreciate your support for our new center. Now that we've been in there for a short time, it's definitely a change. It's a positive change. We appreciate the citizens of Greenfield, the mayor, town hall, the city council, everyone supporting that and everyone that worked so hard to get us there. So we appreciate of that.
One quick question. New radio system working?
Definite huge improvement from what we were coming from.
Okay.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
been a few bugs, but we worked pretty closely with Kurt from Pittsfield Communications
Yeah.
and Captain MacGyver, or I'm sorry, Deputy Chief MacGyver from the fire department. Several of Lieutenant Kimball as well. He helps us out quite a bit with that, so we're
You
appreciative.
guys, I
The support.
personally could hear the difference in it Sunday at the fire ground. It was definitely a lot clearer and crisper and.
Well, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of places in town where before officers would go into buildings and we wouldn't be able to hear them. They'd have no connection at all. And so that's a vast improvement. So, yeah.
I had a question, not related to that, but, so does dispatch call Lifelight? Are you in charge of calling
They
Lifelight?
do make the call.
You make
yes.
the call, okay, I just was curious about that. 'cause I
They
heard
do.
it on the radio, okay, great, well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. So I'll invite the police department up because they showed up on time.
I was driving.
Who was driving?
I was driving, that's why it's on time.
Is that you on the time?
You got a good 8 seconds.
Do we need like 15 chairs here or?
Come on up. Whole bit of a crew.
Come on, don't be shy.
Say that with you.
I'm not afraid of you.
I'm gonna give them the wrinkled copy. All right.
I have lots of questions.
Talking too much.
Right, so,
Gonna jump right to
we
it?
can jump right to it, yes, we can move on to the promotions and want right first, and then we can backtrack. What?
So I want to recommend to the Public Safety Commission, the promotion of Detective Brandon McGoy to Sergeant.
and the promotion of Sergeant Jay Bathinsky to lieutenant. They're here before you and are more than happy to talk at length to their.
I know
career.
Brandon will have to answer my questions. Thank you. Any comments or questions before I ask?
I think we had these gentlemen talking to us not too long ago, so.
You know, I was gonna ask everyone a question and put you on the spot, but I didn't ask Peter, so I'm gonna give you the break and not ask you questions. How's that?
That ain't fair. No, not seeing that fairness there.
We've talked enough. They
You
know-
promised.
I promise. Okay. We're gonna do one at a time. So let's do Brandon first. I need a motion and then a second.
Sorry.
Okay, over there, we have people in the room that can help you.
I call compressions.
I move that we accept the recommendation of Brandon Legoy as our sergeant.
Second,
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Jarvis?
yes. Yes.
Commissioner Burge?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
And Mosquero Toll might have to think for a second. No, I give you my thumbs up. Congratulations. Do you want to add anything or you can?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
About what?
I don't know, talk, say something.
It's okay.
I mean, I am excited to get back on the road and hopefully make a positive impact on the PD. And I assure both of you that I will still come and serve. So
We'll keep you to that.
We
Well,
have no doubt.
We're looking forward to you being a leader for one of the shifts and for the officers. So we look forward to all everything you're gonna be doing for us. So thank you. All right. All right, next. We have a lieutenant to. Do I have a motion? Anyone?
Of course. It is my pleasure to move that we accept the recommendation of promotion of Jay Batinsky to lieutenant.
Second. All right, roll call vote. Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Burge,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Moscaretolo, yes. Congratulations. Thank you.
I don't have much to say. Like you said, we just talked, just over a year ago. Some things have changed, some things haven't. Excited for the opportunity. It's gonna be an adjustment, getting away from the, what I call police work and more towards the desk, but we'll see how things go and excited to keep moving forward.
You're still gonna come do pizza, correct?
Brandon said he's coming to do pizza.
You come.
I'll be there
More the
here. I'll be
merrier.
there once in a while.
We're trying to get him.
What?
What?
Yeah,
Well,
delegates.
we look forward to everything you're gonna do for the department. So thank you.
Thanks.
We'll do the rest of the introductions and then we move on.
Yes, let's do it. Let's.
And stuff. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to welcome Hunter Zygmunt. He's in our third phase of FTO training right now, right? And hopefully finishing up the next couple of weeks, and he'll be the newest of the new. What shift, probably midnights, I would
More
say,
likely than not.
more than likely midnights. He's a transfer, well, fresh out of the academy about a year ago, then he worked at Ware PD. He lateraled over to us and he's finishing up his FTO training right now.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. A couple other movements.
Talk.
Oh yeah. Well, usually,
You said no one's getting off the hook. I'm holding you to it.
Usually I don't let anybody off the hook, but I'm being nice tonight.
I'm definitely excited for the change. It was a change that was much needed. For just my personal background of going from 40 minutes to work every day to 20. And then I feel like I've been welcomed with open hands by the entire department. I'm looking forward to a long, successful future with the police department.
The only advice I can give you is listen to the folks that you're being trained by because they're a good group of people. And they have a lot of knowledge and education and experience, so maybe you'll get from them.
Yes, sir. I would absolutely agree.
Well, I don't think we need to do an approval, he's all on board, so. All right,
Right over us.
thank you.
We had a couple of other changes. Officer Henry, he decided to go back to the midnights. He likes chasing down.
He does.
everything, you know,
He
he's-
likes that shit.
So Officer Zoe Smith is our new downtown officer. She's what, three weeks into it now?
Yeah, I think I just started my fourth week.
Fourth week now.
Yeah.
Hearing nothing but good things throughout the downtown. We're excited. We spoke today about the job and she's very excited to be doing it. So I think it's a good move. Officer Henry's doing what he loves to do and Officer Smith is doing what she likes to do. So.
We hope.
Okay, say
She's a good liar.
Yeah.
I'll say this position is really why I got into police work, why I've stayed in police work for so long. And it's just building those relationships with people, you know, the people that come downtown, the people that stay downtown, the people that work downtown, all that, and just really making sure that the people for whom Greenfield should be accessible to, it remains accessible to them. And they feel like that they're a member of the community that they are. So it's been an honor.
We appreciate it. We need it. It's been something the mayor has wanted for a long time. And I think it's made a big difference. I hear it from business owners in community. They feel really good about it. And you're gonna have an office space.
Yes, the chief can probably speak to it, but that downtown substation, I'll speak to it, I guess.
He doesn't- He's tired.
Yeah, but I've been getting anywhere between 10 and 15,000 steps in a day, just walking the beat. So if you see me, I'm like overly friendly. You'll have to tell me to shut up. So come over, say hi, make small talk, all that stuff.
Well, you're gonna fit in well downtown. And again, I know, because I get phone calls and the business owners are over the moon about your presence. So thank you for that.
Yep, I echo that. Praise after praise after praise, out of the gate. It's good stuff.
One final change that's gonna put us to the test.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
What
There
does
is
that
no
mean?
question about
Put
this.
us to the
So I'll
test.
share, don't
Put
worry.
us to the test. So since Sergeant Budinski will be now Lieutenant Budinski, Sergeant Cloutier will now take over his job as the Special Unit Sergeant. The Special Units position started with me several years ago. Jay took it over, did great things with it, and now
Better than you?
better than me. This is the only thing we asked was, you know, make it better, and he did better. Now we're asking the same of Sergeant Cloutier, and hopefully she just continues the tradition, of just making the job as the best it can be. Yeah, we're excited, you know, people are getting into different roles and, you know, knocking off some of the rust in little different positions and good, it's all good.
He looks
So-
at me with the side eye when he says that.
Yeah, coming.
He wants you to speak.
Yeah, oh, I.
I'm all choked up saying it. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well,
No,
it was his baby, right? So he passed it on.
yeah, I mean, there's room for improvement when it comes from him, so I'm just kidding. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. My favorite time in the police department thus far has been my role in the detective bureau. And when I became a supervisor, I was no longer doing that work. So part of what Jay was doing, and what Chris was doing before was supervising the detective bureau. So that is something I'm really looking forward to diving back into. Jay did some pretty impressive things. I have big shoes to fill. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to show what I can do in that position, but Jay really laid a fantastic foundation for me to build on. So I'm really looking forward to what this position entails and seeing what I can do.
Yeah, you need community involvement. This is the person you talk to.
I got you.
Yep, she will put bodies wherever you need them.
Yeah. Zoe and I have already been walking downtown chit-chatting about what our thoughts are and some plans of things that we can do, especially when the weather gets nicer, because when we walk downtown and it rains, it's not great for my hair. So, but it is what it is. But we were walking prior to this. That's why the hair looks the way it does. Dave can attest to this. But no, I'm really excited for the opportunity and I'm hoping to see what other things, things can come out of it.
We're looking forward to it. Pearls when it rains.
Yours, yeah. We'll end that.
Well, thank you all for your presence here tonight. We greatly appreciate it, and we appreciate the updates. And we look forward to nothing but good things from all of you. Thank you.
Now you're all you want, or you can retreat. It's
Yeah,
up to you.
I got a shift around.
It's out of here.
I'm gonna take a retreat.
There you go.
Retreat.
Thank you all again.
On that note, it goes without saying, not easy processes that we had to go through for the promotions, et cetera. Like the fire chief had indicated, there's no single phase to it. There are interviews, there's background checks into past performance. A project is issued to them that they have to complete, and it's basically has to do with something they could potentially face in their new position as a sergeant or lieutenant. And everybody, it's shocking how well and how close our candidates come. And and the good part, the best part, I say, of our promotional process is we summon the aid of a lot of other commanding officers from other agencies that hopefully don't know our candidates, so they can be as objective as possible. And consistently, upon them leaving after doing what they do, they beg to take our employees with them because they bring so much to the table. So it just makes our decision far more difficult when it comes down to having to pick one. In this particular case, we would have 5 or 6 individuals vying for a single position. So we can only fill one, and it's hard. We wish we could give them all out, but we just can't do that. So I think we got round pegs and round holes at the conclusion of these promotional processes. So I look forward to the future. We made good changes. Like I said, Zoe's she gets complimented. I'm getting emails daily about her, her visibility downtown. We're hoping to add to that, as you know, as we move forward too. So substation is coming together. They just threw another work change at us, but we're gonna fight this fight. We're gonna get through it, and we're gonna have a substation at some point. And
It has a front.
It has a front.
It has a front.
We're
glass.
You're doing pretty good.
The deputy chief is settling into his role. In the not too distant future, the command staff will meet. We're gonna iron out tasks lists for all the different positions, and then when we're prepared to do that, we will have a total staff meeting with all supervisors, and we'll lay out the marching orders. So I think we're pretty close already. Figuring out. I see Pamela is in the audience. I just want to say to her that I heard you. I got your message. Sorry I didn't get back to you, and we do have something in the works. So I just wanted to let her know that. We can go over to stats. So for January, total calls for us were 3,563. That was actually down 28 calls from the previous month. Time spent on those calls was 1,646 hours, which is up 7 hours in the previous months. Calls handled in the downtown business district, 308, which is up 4 calls. So we continue to have 10+ calls downtown every single day. We will continue to add to that. What we're seeing is more and more sort of proactive type of police calls, and not quality of life concerning police calls, if you can get what I'm saying. Pulling people off Main Street handcuffs every single day. There was a time, as you are all well aware, that wasn't the case. We were pulling people off Main Street. I think our presence and our response to downtown has proven productive, and I think it will only get better as we go. Incident reports issued in January was 138. That was down 49 reports. We had a lot of snow. People probably stayed in. Accident reports issued 43, which actually with the snow was down 14. Arrest reports were 58. That's up 11. That's physical arrests. Citations issued were 226. That's down 26. Special report was shown. Dealt with a lot of that today. At the time I made this, the promotions were pending. And we were doing interviews for a special unit sergeant. So as you know now, Megan Cloutier is moving into that role. With that, just for the public's knowledge, she'll end up having an office in the detective bureau because she'll actually be the detective supervisor. We're moving with these promotions. I initiated actually a sort of structural change inside the PD. Whereas like positions will be in like areas of the building. So special unit and detectives will be in what we know as the detective bureau out back. The first offices you encounter when you come into the building out of roll call will be more civilian offices, right? And the reason for that is Rebecca Jernigan has to do firearms licensing and other tasks that cause her to bring people in and out of the building. It'll end there. So then, chief, deputy chief and lieutenants are back around the corner with the executive assistant. So, and then as you know, where the report stations are and the patrol supervisor. So we are doing a little bit of movement. It's actually, in my opinion, worked out well. Things are looking cleaner. We're organized. We're getting better. There's still a lot of movement that needs to be made. We're moving what we call our ready room, which is all the stuff that the officers grab on their way out the door, defibs, radar, handheld radars, things of that nature. We're going to set up the room that they were doing roll call in recently as a soup to nuts ready room. They're going to have everything they need in there, cruiser keys, radios, that whole thing. So the special unit sergeant, according to the newly minted deputy chief, that will be her first fun task to tackle. So we'll see how that goes. They just filled it with desks, so it's gonna be fun.
I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
The whole shifting and the moving around and the organizing in the public being limited to and not having to walk in space.
Yeah.
And the offices having that room ready to, you know, start their shift, end their shift and have everything they need in there is, it's a really good idea.
Main Street Substation is, as you know, underway. Report stations, we are talking about. As you know, we did the dispatch center. The roll call room is looking a lot better. We put a facelift on that at next to no cost. We've painted various areas with the help of House of Corrections. At no cost of labor whatsoever. They come in and they'll spackle lightly and they'll paint. We painted the entire detective bureau, all the supervisors' offices. So basically every area in the building other than the patrol dominated areas have been given a somewhat of a facelift, and we don't want to forget about them. So I met with the finance director early last week, trying to figure out a way to fund just some enhancements, aesthetic more than anything, enhancements to the report station areas. So it's obviously a much bigger area. It's the entire center of the police department, but we're only talking about a coat of paint, maybe changing ceiling tile, and maybe building a couple L-shaped walls that desks will kind of sit in. So I don't know if we showed you the plans, good or not. What we were happy to do that. We're not moving anywhere on that yet because we'll be mounting stuff to the wall, to the ground. We'll need a building permit. So we're working out the minutia of that right now. Yeah, they're 5-foot walls, but we have to do it. So a lot of nuts and bolts to work out, but our goal is to hopefully show them that we haven't forgotten about them either, and that, you know, they deserve that whole entire area hasn't been touched in over a quarter decade.
Yeah.
Since we moved in, we've done nothing to it. So cabinet doors are falling off, the carpet's shot, ceiling shot. I think if you went to pull out any drawers, the handles and drawer faces fall right off. So
We still got our hammers from the dispatch.
I still got in my speech where we're ready.
We're done. Yep.
On
afraid of
a-
this.
on a serious note, I can only say it's about time, you know, and I think if it wasn't, you know, for you, Todd, and Chris, in support of the mayor, that, you know, I mean, you know, people don't want to, I mean, I remember what the carpet was like 2 years ago, walking through there, or 3 years ago, and it's, you know, they need a place, I mean, if you look at, how the firemen and women feel when they walk in here and they sleep in here, right? It's a great feeling and you deserve the same. So what you're doing is admirable.
We
And
pay the
I,
price. I just smashed another figure. I'll probably lose.
that was Chris hitting you with the hammer and missing the nail.
He had something to do with
I'm
it.
sure it was. I have no doubt.
He needs to pay attention.
But anyway, that's on a serious note. Thank you for.
Yeah, cruisers, 3 were approved on the capital side. A financial order was being created by our finance director that will have to go through city council. So hopefully that goes smoothly, and as soon as it does, we'll order 3 new. Mayor and I spoke. We were talking about the possibility of one of them being an electric vehicle. So I met again with Carol Collins, who I thoroughly enjoy, and she's working on maybe getting us a sort of a 2-place charging system, sort of the cart before the horse kind of thing. To buy the truck, I asked, it was actually interesting, if we bought a Lightning truck, fully electric Lightning truck, the charger they give you, it only takes about 40 hours to charge it.
Not very much light.
It's pretty quick. So we have to get one of the class 2 or level 2 chargers that Carol has. Now, she has grant money for it, so we're working that angle. So if we can get a 2-place charger, my mindset is that one of the chargers is obviously earmarked for our electric car and another one can be for the public. So we kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And if we ever expand our electric fleet, we have a second place to plug in.
You have a third place to plug in. There's 2 right out in front of this building here.
Different real estate. We'll give it to Zoe and she can plug in here.
There you go.
Never park sideways. I think there's a car in it. right
Not
now.
different real estate.
You might want to go take a look at
There's
it.
2 charges right out
You
front
might
of
want
here.
to take a look at it. I think we got a hybrid. And you met Hunter, you meant to bring him last time, he did not. You guys did the recommendation for promotion. So as you know, Detective Corey Green was offered that position, but for family and personal reasons, he declined at this time. Doesn't make him any less of a candidate. He is absolutely a strong runner in this promotional process. We talked, it was tough. It was really tough for him to get the acknowledgement that he's done such a good job recently. It's hard to not be able to accept it, but it just doesn't make sense right now. You couldn't make any promises as to where he's gonna be. You get promoted, you kind of go to the bottom of the junior ladder, and you couldn't make any promises of anything, so. But I appreciate your involvement in backing those promotions. It's gonna help a great deal. Budget report, we're tracking really well in 25. In spite of having to do a pretty significant buyback. As you know, our deputy chief retired in November, and he was from the old regime where they saved everything. So he got a pretty significant check when he left. He was owed it. It's fair. He packed that time away. But it did smack us a little bit. We have taken steps this entire fiscal year to counteract that. And we're in pretty good shape. Chris and I monitor the budget monthly, and we're actually gaining ground all the time. I'm hoping, our goal is to not have to ask for anything at the end of the fiscal year. I guess if it was to end today.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we didn't anticipate $150,000 in buyout, so, but we haven't brought on our 35th person. So it came with a cost.
How's the overtime?
Great. No, we're doing good. Yeah.
I'm
Everything's
going to ask you, chief, back there. I'll ask next time.
Oh, we're in pretty good shape.
Excellent.
I think the formulation of these special units that we have are sort of hitting the nails on the head and accomplishing a lot of stuff the right way. And it's solving a lot of problems that we probably would have faced on the fly before. One, for example, is the next page is co-response. We just met today and they interviewed 2 new co-responder candidates. Both of them seem to hit home runs in my book.
A lot of experience.
Yeah, really good
We
individuals.
have 1 right now, right? Are we down to 1?
We have 2, but one's on maternity.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
She was recently promoted too, so
Yeah.
her role changed. Her co-response is
be very limited
Yeah.
since her acceptance of a higher
So we only
position.
have one active.
One active, but we interviewed for two today.
Okay.
One, that second one was, I believe chosen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is the second one.
Both
Both brought a lot to the table. Yeah, it's amazing where this is kind of evolved. I mean, for example, the first we interviewed today was in total response back probably for the last 15 years. I mean, it's not new, but it's evolving. And a lot of individuals are wanting to come and jump on the Greenfield model. Because we're just doing a lot of things right. So, as you can see in January, the co-responders had 35 total calls, so at least one a day and then some. They did 26 in-person responses, 9 were virtual. As far as hospitalizations go, 3 section 12s were issued, 4 went voluntarily. Thankfully, no officers were injured. And during their calls, there was 1 either arrest, charge, or summons. So we keep them safe and they keep, they do what they do. And it's, again, this continues to be a highly successful program. I don't see it going away. I see it expanding, if anything. And in that respect, that's exactly part of why we have a civilian liaison and they help us immensely with what we're trying to do. Even though she don't call me, she don't write anymore. I don't know where the heck she is anymore.
Don't get her mad.
She's mad that I don't have her substation done yet. I get it.
You got the Salvation Army for me though.
Got what? Salvation Army?
Well, I'm doing the,
Well, that's right.
supervising.
Anything else?
Oh, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. We need you more than anything else. We're running short of a quorum.
We'll have 7 soon. I'm working very close with the mayor.
No, we appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Any questions?
Comment?
Comments?
Oh,
Absolutely.
you know, I have a comment always.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kudos to you guys for the jobs that they do. I always say I didn't want to be a police officer. I'd rather be running to Vernon buildings, so it's a lot easier job. So, I'd just like to say that I'm glad you're doing some facelifts to the building. I know what it's like to work in a building needs a lot of work. I retired from one like that and now they're in here. So I
Now
left
you're
and they got a
building.
new building, so that goes to show me. And I know the town will work hard. Hopefully there's some grant money that comes available for police and get you out of the health building that you're in and into a professional building soon. Maybe before you leave time.
Yeah, I doubt it.
No, the mayor's back there shaking her head. no.
Wishful
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. But it will be something that I'm sure that everybody has their focus on and not keeping their. And I'll remind people every once in a while, just because it's well deserved and people need to
Appreciate it.
work in a good.
Please stop up.
environment.
We'll show you around.
Not that I.
I'd like
not
to
that
brag
I'm
about
saying
what
that-
we did a little bit.
Not that I'm not saying that the town isn't, so.
No, we've got a lot of support for that.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Yep.
It's been on waiver of the support from the mayor's office and the city council, so.
Yep,
for both
absolutely.
departments, So,
So what you're saying is it's another setback for that place? I just don't think you're walking in.
No, just a standard setback for that place. I see there's windows in it. I think there's a door. We're leaps and bounds. We just picked floor color, actually, so we're doing all right.
Floor colors?
Floor color. Sand dune, flooring color, sand dune, yeah.
Thank you for
I
your time.
asked for
I'm
blue.
gonna end the conversation.
Thank you.
Just a couple minutes things for the commissioners, and can you find out if a public safety commissioners can monitor or maybe just watch this training
For sure.
and let me
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
I'd be interested, others might be, but just, not participate, just observe.
Sure. Well, I
One
will
more
reach out.
thing I forgot to add, the guy that got us the badges, he doesn't do that anymore, so I gotta find another supplier.
Okay.
The 3 of you have the same badge right now, right?
Yes.
Find another supplier.
Okay, we can use the one, I think I have the information.
How about?
Yeah, I think I have the information on where we got the last. All right, so just so you all know, I will send this out There's been some changes with the charter. I don't know if you've gone online and seen the new charter, but we'll review it. I'll put it on the agenda for next month, so we could just talk about it. And you know that the one of them was went from 5 to 7 commissioners. That changes our quorum responsibility, so we have to have 4 folks here. So I beg the 3 of you to keep that in the back of your minds. It's we could have a non-voting meeting with the generosity of the mayor if we don't have 4, but we need 4 of all us to make any significant voting. And then we'll talk about the voting of our positions and how that has changed next time. Okay, so I think we're at the point where I would ask for a motion to end the meeting, and you can go home.
Commissioner, before you end it,
Oh, yes.
want to submit my monthly report.
Oh, sure, we didn't go over that, but that would be great.
Yeah, just not a lot.
Yeah, it's okay,
Yeah, we
we'll
did.
review it. If we have any questions, we'll bring it up next time. Thank you for that. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
second? All in favor? Aye, thank you all, appreciate your time.
Congratulations.